guys, it's Marcus Maloney, the Equity King, coming to you from the great Southwest. It's 2017, it's a new year. I hope you're excited about what is going to happen for you for this year. I know you have your resolutions done, your goals outlined, everything ready for 2017 to be your best year ever. Again, I just want to reiterate, please go to equityblog.com to get your free contracts, assignments, questions answered. We have blog posts there, everything that you need along with videos to get you started as a real estate investor, as a wholesaler, bird dog. So today what I want to do is the second week of January, and I know everybody have already started their marketing and everything like that. For those of you who don't have a great title company or escrow officer or attorney, or if you have one and you're looking to expand operations and you need to get another one, this is 14 questions that I ask title companies when I'm doing interviews. Remember, they have to have your best interests at heart as the client. So what I always do is I make sure I have interviews with all of my escrow officers when I meet them, and we go through these 14 questions. And it's dependent upon how they answer these 14 questions if I am going to send files to them or not. So real quick, let's get started. Don't want to be with you too long on today. You can use this information and start interviewing escrow officers and attorneys right away. The reason why I do this is because I had a couple of files that got messed up with some bad escrow officers, and because of that, I lost thousands of dollars. And what I want to do is make sure you don't make those same mistakes. So here, let's go into it. We got it boarded up. Let's look at these 14 questions. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them below. And also, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe below. So, number one, what are your office hours? This may seem very basic, but what you're trying to find out is how diligent are they for working after hours. A lot of times you get files sent in 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning. How fast are they going to start working on your files? If they have regular 9 to 5 hours, 8 to 5 hours, that's not the place for you. As a real estate investor, as an entrepreneur, you're working continuously. And when you get those files completed and you get those properties under contract, you want to send that directly over to the escrow officer and get that thing filed. That way, no other wholesaler or investor can come behind you and put that property under contract and snake you out of your deal. So you need to know, one, what are their office hours? Number two, can you meet with the client after hours? Again, this is going towards their availability. How available are they? If they say, hey, once 5 o'clock come, I'm done. It's not the place for you. Again, I understand people have lives. They have, families, children, little kiddos and everything like that. It's completely understandable. But if this is the norm, if this is the routine, that's not the place for you. A lot of escrow officers are very aggressive. They'll get out there, they'll start working your file the minute you send it over. So you have to find someone that's motivated and aggressive. Just like you're looking for motivated sellers and motivated buyers, you're looking for motivated escrow officers that want to work with you as well. Number three, do you have any assistants? Again, this is a great question to understand their availability. A lot of times when you're working with escrow officers, when you first meet, you're going to meet with the branch manager. Of course, not all of your work is going to be done with the branch manager, but you need to build that relationship if they have assistants. Who exactly am I going to be working with? Who exactly are these files going to be going to? That way I can email them, call them, pick up the phone. Hey, what's the status of this file? That way they know, when you have a payoff release from a mortgage company or something like that, they can immediately let you know that they're receiving information on a timely manner. All right, number two, I put bilingual capabilities, but I want to say multilingual capabilities because you're working with sellers, that may speak Spanish, that may speak Portuguese, Chinese, everything like that. You definitely have to have a multilingual escrow officer. You don't want to be locked into someone that only speaks English. Absolutely not. Especially here in the Southwest, we deal with a lot of Spanish-speaking individuals, and they only feel comfortable, which is right, if they can translate and understand exactly what's going on throughout the process. So they definitely want to make sure that they have someone that have their best interests at heart and communicate the whole process all the way through thoroughly with them. So you want to make sure they have multilingual capabilities. Then also, with what method and frequency do you communicate? You know, how long is it going to take for you to respond to an email? If I send you an email, is it going to take an hour? Is it going to take 2 hours? Am I going to receive a response from you tomorrow? I need to know what method and the frequency. If you're better at talking on the phone, or if you're better at email, or if you like to text, you know, what is the best method and the best frequency in order for us to communicate? And the reason why communication is very important, you know, because you're working with the buyer, you're working with the seller, you're working with the escrow officer, you're working with, you know, the title company, you're working with attorneys, a lot of banks. You know, there's a lot of different communication that goes on when you're solidifying a transaction, and you do not want the ball to be dropped somewhere and you lose out on $5,000, $10,000 just because someone couldn't communicate correctly. All right, next, what are your recording, wiring, cutoff times? You know, how soon can I get a file into you? You know, how can we get this recorded? I understand it goes through the process of, you know, that county or that city and that state, but at the same time, you know, what are your recording times? What are your wire cutoff times? If I have a buyer that definitely wants this property and he want to wire over funds into escrow, you know, what time do I tell him he need to get this money over? Is it 3 o'clock? Is it 2 o'clock? You know, is it 4 o'clock? We need to know. You know, if it's local, can he come in to the office and drop off the earnest money deposit? It all depends on your escrow officer's policy. Then the next thing you want to know is, what are the fees, rates, wire costs? You know, you want to make sure you're working with an escrow officer that do not have high fees. Most escrow officers and attorneys have special rates for investors. So you need to ask them, you know, what are your investor rates? If I'm going to be sending files over to you, you know, once, 2, 3 times a month, you know, am I getting the best deal, or do I need to go and shop? You need to shop anyway just to know what the baseline cost is for doing a transaction, but you want to make sure you find out what those rates are. You don't want any surprises when you come to the closing table. Then next, mobile notary service. Do they have mobile notary service? You know, a lot of sellers, they work 9 to 5. They can't stop in the middle of their day and go down to the title company or go down to the attorney and sign documents. Can you come to them? You know, that's one beneficial service, is to make sure no matter where you are in the United States, I can come to you and we can get these documents signed so we can close this transaction. So you definitely want to know if they have mobile notary service. Also, do they have mobile couriers? You know, if I have a buyer that's working at a fix and flip project, they don't want to stop that project just to go and send earnest money to the title company. Will you send someone to come and pick that earnest money up? You know, will you send someone to come and pick that contract up? Or will you send someone to come and drop off a contract or something like that? You know, will they drop off the settlement statement for those to be reviewed? So you need to know if there's mobile courier services. Next, turn time for property profiles. Again, this kind of correlates with this here. You know, what are your recording times, wire times, and things like that. This is just to know how fast are they going to start working on that file. I need you to be diligent. I need you to be quick. I need you to be fast. I need you to do this information at the speed of light, because once I submit that property profile, once I submit that contract, I'm on to the next deal. because I know this one is done. It's time to go to the next deal. I don't want to be badgered or want to find out information later that, hey, this didn't close or this happened. We understand that it's life, things happen, but in the meantime, we want to make sure our escrow officer know how to handle all of this information. Next, you want to ask, is there any services offered that I'm not aware of? Is there anything that you offer your clients that I may not be aware of, that I may not have questions to on this board? So you want to make sure you pull out everything that they have. You want to take advantage and get everything that you need, not only for yourself, but for the seller and the buyer, because those are your clients. You want to make sure you're doing everything that you can for them. Next, number 12, what was your worst file you ever worked on and what did you do? When you're dealing with wholesale properties, you're gonna have properties that have back tax liens, probate properties, liens with the city for trash, sewer, water, everything. You're gonna have properties where, there's 5 different owners on record. Are you going to be able to get all of those signatures from those owners? What was the worst file that you ever worked on and what did you do? Because I want to know, if a problem file comes to you, are you going to be able to handle it? Or are you going to say, hey, you know what, we're not going to work on this file. You need to go to another title company in order to get this file done. I was reading an email just this past weekend where an investor stated that the title company declined to work on one of their files. You don't want to have a property under contract and that occurs, okay? So you want to find out, what was the worst file that they worked on and how did they get it done. Then number 13, what do you expect from me? As far as my turn time, I asked you all of these questions. What's your method of communicating and frequency? What do you expect from me? When you send me an email, how fast do you want me to respond? When you send me a notice, how fast do you want me to respond? When you call the phone and I don't answer, when you leave a voicemail, when do you want me to respond? I need to know, what do you expect from me, because I'm going to give you what you expect, because I want you to continue working on my files. I want to be the primary person when a file or a case come in to your office on your desk and you see the equity, realty, and investments. I want you to immediately start working on that. And likewise, when you send us something, we want to immediately start working on it. So what do you expect from us is a two-way street. And then finally, do you have multi-state notary services? Give you an example. Working on a file right now where the seller lives out of state. I'm in the Southwest. They are clear across the East Coast. How are we going to get them to sign the settlement statement? How are we going to get them to preview all of the docs? Not only that, not only are they across the nation, they're elderly. So they don't communicate via email. They don't have web service and everything like that. So will you be able to have a mobile courier get this information across state to these sellers or to these buyers? So just real quick, these are the 14 questions you should ask any escrow officer when you're doing an interview with them. If they cannot answer these questions, please take your business and go elsewhere. But 9 times out of 10, they will be able to provide you service. Also, a bonus question, especially for wholesalers: assignments. And double closes. You need to ask them, do they do assignments and double closes? A lot of title companies now, because of the liability reasons, they don't want to do assignments and double closes. So you need to ask them that. So this is a bonus question, and actually this should be number 1, especially as a wholesaler, as an investor. Do you do assignments and double closes? So again, these are the now 15 questions you need to ask your title company, escrow officer, or attorney when conducting a wholesale transaction. Again, if you like this information, you find this information valuable, please subscribe below, hit the comment button and respond. If you have any questions, I'm on the other line or one of our assistants are on the other line to answer these questions for you. So again, I'm Marcus Maloney, the Equity King. Yes, I Buy Houses Phoenix, equityrealestateblog.com. We welcome your questions. See ya.